social distancing, social distancing, social distancing, social distancing.
Yeah, I know how you feel, Mayor. I get that caught in my throat every time I hear that damn word, too. Does anybody know where that actually started? It started, now it may have had a context somewhere in the past that I don't recall hearing, but the first occasion I heard that term was in a movie called, oh, crap, it was the movie with Lawrence Fishburne that's actually called, I think it's called Pandemic. Back in 2011, they used that word, social distancing. So, I'm sorry, it's not social distancing. How do you pronounce it again?
Social distancing, social distancing, social
Social
distancing,
distancing,
social distancing.
social distancing. One more time. How do you do that?
Social distancing,
Social distancing.
social distancing, social
distancing.
distancing, social
Distancing.
distancing.
Distancing. There you go. So now you've learned how to pronounce words today. So I really respect a number of the things Hannity has done. I really do. And I don't want to just make this all about me going off on him. So we're going to start with some positive stuff. We're going to play some positive stuff about Hannity, but then we're going to get into a part that really irritates me about one of these things and I don't really know if he realizes what he's doing by what he says, but we'll get into that. On Hannity's show last night, he was discussing the protests that occurred over the weekend from people who have gone from tolerating the social distancing and the lockdown to just being done with it, like myself, because I am done with it. And so he was sharing some of the protests that occurred over the weekend and some of the things that are happening. Some stuff that we should be really unnerved by. So check this out and see what you think of the protests and people who are getting tired of this.
Over the weekend, protesting erupting in multiple states. Americans across the country, they're getting a little sick and tired of some of the draconian measures currently being enforced by state governors. Parts of New Jersey, police are stopping drivers. Where are you going? And by the way, that's not needed. That is a horrific use and abuse of limited police resources and a really serious, unnecessary risk to them.
It's also called martial law.
Cops in New York, a lot of them have gotten COVID-19. Religious services in multiple states have been banned, even drive-up services. Threats to take down people's license plates and go after them. Other states are trying to get neighbor to report on neighbor. Michigan governor issuing lockdown orders preventing Michigan residents from visiting their own family members, buying seeds, and fishing. Fishing is about usually as socially distant as you can get. California, public parks, beaches are closed. Maryland, those who violate the lockdown orders, you can go to jail for a year. Washington State threatening to revoke business licenses for any entity violating shutdown orders. One state.
So there you have it. There's so much in the protesting that's important. And it's not the mass of any group of people who go out and protest on a normal basis, okay? Most people do it quietly within their homes through their vote, or at the ballot box, not just in their homes, but through the ballot box or through what they consume. Their consumption of news sources is what kind of tells you their perspective on circumstances. So that's why you have all these different news stations competing for attention and competing for ratings because there's money in it, and that also tells them who's kind of going their way on things, for the most part. So the danger of some of the things he talked about, like police taking down people's name, their license plates, threatening to imprison them, when they're actually letting convicted criminals out of jail. They want to incarcerate the people. Now, I thought the whole point of removing people from jail and releasing them from jail was so that you didn't spread COVID-19, but no. We'll arrest the people who were not listening and following our orders and doing exactly what we tell them to do. We'll put them back in jail, and to hell with COVID-19 in that case. Explain the logic of that. Or they'll fine them. For living their lives and being free, they will fine you. Why are you not annoyed by that if you're still living in this nonsense and not protesting it the way I am, or the way the people who went out on these streets or went to these capitals are, or through a blog, or through a YouTube video, or through a podcast? Why are you tolerating this? These people want control of your life. Your liberty. They want it. You don't deserve to have it. Only a certain group of people need to have the freedom to move about the way they want to. And I could get into a whole rant about these people and constantly shutting down small businesses. So many small businesses that will never come back. So many people that have lost their jobs, and those jobs are gone. Gone. But you haven't noticed one worker in government that's lost their job, have you? Not because of COVID-19. They're all still getting paid. They're still putting people on the street doing construction jobs as though that's essential. Liquor stores are open. That's essential. But anybody else with a small business that's making their own way in the world, defining their own path, no. It's only the big conglomerates or the government or the people that we want to have the ability to stay open that get to stay open. Look in your area. I bet there is at least one or two businesses that would not be considered essential, that have been defined as essential because they're doing something in exchange to be defined as essential. In other words, it's called a bribe. Locally, we have someone here who has a furniture store, and he still has the ability for you to go buy furniture because he's giving stuff to people too. Now, I'm not unhappy that he's giving stuff to people, but when other businesses are not allowed to operate, that's a little classless. You can't say you're with everyone when you're still out there making money. You're still, if the potential of making money, you still got that and they don't. So these protests are super important. They're not just super important. They're not just uber important. They are critical. They are necessary to protect us from this kind of government overreach. We have to stop this. We have to stop it. And I truly don't believe, I truly don't believe that Trump wants to control the country. I honestly think he got talked into this. And after all the stuff he's gone through with these people, turning their backs on him and how they have stabbed him, and it's unbelievable that he would have trusted anything that some of these people said. But, it was said to me that maybe he just didn't realize that the CDC and the NIH, that they were in this position and that these kinds of people were in those places that would want to do that. You would think those people would care about health, honestly, and not have any political aspirations or political, aims in mind. But they do, because they're people. And they're in a government, and this government is just soaked in progressivism. It's soaked in the idea that government be the end-all, be-all of everything, and that not the citizens decide, but that the government decides stuff. And you're going to listen to them. But you know what the bottom line is? There are more of us than there are of them. And we have the power of the vote, and they need to be removed. And if you have a president, this president, any president or public official, they need to make the median salary of the average American, get this $172,000 a year plus all the other perks they get that stuff gone. And I mean gone fast. You won't get it, but I'm telling you, that's what needs to happen. The only time that will change is a revolution, but that needs to be gone. They need to make the median salary so it's not incentive. They must be required, if they want to be in government, to sign documentation that is punishable by law and incarceration guaranteed that says they will not participate in lobbying ever, that they will either sell off or blindly commit all of their assets to a third-party representation that will invest them. Not their husband, not their wife, not their dog, not their, favorite cousin, Joanne. All of them must give up any assets they have and blindly commit them to their trusts for the term of their service in the country. Because if they don't, that means they always have the ability to have an impact on it. If it's a blind trust, meaning nobody knows who's in charge of it, then they're more likely to do things that are going to positively impact that trust and not things that are going to push forward a political agenda that will benefit them solely. But I'm getting off on a rant. My whole thing was these protests, they're important. They're super important. Let's get into what I wanted to talk about with Hannity, though. Hannity, like others, has decided he has his own idea of how to reopen the country and what he thinks would be necessary to get New York City moving forward. And he may just say this is what he wants for New York City, but let me tell you, he is not the only person who's thinking this for other cities as well. And this is what's dangerous. Take a listen to what he recommends for opening New York City.
Now, if you want my plan, we'll call it the Hannity plan. To reopen New York City it'd be the following. Masks and gloves temporarily might be the new normal in New York City, even indoors. Non-essential workers, they're going to have to work from home, at least 50% of the workforce in every building in New York. 50% is the goal. Keep them working at home. That allows more social distancing, less concentration on the streets and the buildings of New York City. Digital temperature checks. They don't touch you. Put it at your forehead. Bing, 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 boom. That has to happen to everybody entering any building. It should be mandatory, again, temporarily, if you want entrance into any building in New York City. I discussed all of this with the governor today. I want to see Yankee Stadium open. I want Citi Field, where the Mets play, open. I want MetLife Stadium in New Jersey open for the Giants and Jets. Now, this is not my decision. But now you have to start with this one thing. People most at risk with underlying health issues or compromised immune systems, guys, you shouldn't go. Not this year. You're going to have to take a year off. Every player, every trainer, every coach, every ticket taker, every food and beverage worker, anybody working in these stadiums will have to have that Abbott 5-minute test. Have to. Anyone that wants to attend a game. Now, if I have the choice attending the game or not attending the game, I'm just speaking for myself. Consult your doctor. I'm not a doctor. But you must get the temperature test to get into any Yankee Stadium. You get the temperature test. If you have a temperature, they give you information. You go to your doctor, be safe at home, how to do contact tracing. No, can't have a database. Got to respect medical privacy. But you can't be, if you have a temperature, going into any even outdoor stadium. Now, temporarily, again, not the best conditions, but if it's my choice and I have to wear gloves, a mask, okay, I'll wear it. I'd rather go and wear it. If everyone else is wearing it, we can suck it up for a couple of months until things have passed. Probably can't eat popcorn because you have to keep your mask off the whole time, but you probably could eat a hot dog. You open up your respirator, take a bite, and you chew it under your mask. I have to drink my beer if I'm at a game. So if I have to use a straw and slip it in, I'll do that.
Should I say it? Should I say it? That's what she said. Okay, so let's go through this play by play. There's just so many things to respond to in this. Let's start from the beginning.
Now, if you want my plan, we'll call it the Hannity plan. To reopen New York City would be the following. Masks and gloves temporarily might be the new normal.
There is no such thing as temporary new normal. That is paradoxical, okay? It's either a temporary adjustment or it's a new behavioral pattern. It doesn't become temporary new normal. Because temporary and normal don't even match each other.
In New York City, even indoors, non-essential workers, they're going to have to work from home. At least 50% of the workforce in every building in New York, 50% is the goal. Keep them working at home. That allows more social distancing, less concentration.
Social distancing, social distancing, social distancing.
On the streets and the buildings of New York City. Digital temperature checks. They don't touch you. Put it at your forehead. Bing, 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 bing. Boom. That has to happen to everybody entering any building. It should be mandatory. Again, temporarily.
This is so insane. You want people to let the government and let officials check their temperature and do a test on them every time they enter a building? You haven't done that since. We didn't do that when everybody had the flu, and the flu can spread. The common cold can spread. You haven't done that before now. Why is this so different that you need to do a test on people before they go into a building and that they're required to wear a gloves and a mask? You know what's really funny about this while he's talking about this? He's not wearing gloves and a mask. Huh. A little bit of a double standard there, Sean? Because you're inside a building. Someone's filming you. They may not be in the same room, but you're still in the same building. Don't you want to protect them? Why don't you wear your little mask? Why aren't you wearing your gloves, huh? Is it because you're a face and you're important and you need to be seen? You don't want other people's faces to be seen. You're so worried about that.
If you want entrance into any building in New York City, I discussed all of this with the governor today. I want to see Yankee Stadium open. I want Citi Field where the Mets.
He said Yankee.
Play open. I want MetLife Stadium in New Jersey open for the Giants and Jets. Now, this is not my decision, but now you have to start with this one thing. People most at risk with underlying health issues or compromised immune systems, guys, you shouldn't go. Not this year. You're going to have to take a year off.
I thought you didn't believe in people having their liberty interfered with. And yet you're telling them, if you have a compromised immune system, you can't go to a baseball game. How about everybody who's got good sense, who might be sick, not going to a baseball game? Are you telling someone who's suffering from cancer, who's got a compromised immune system because they're going through chemo and they're suffering from stage 4 and they just want to go to one more baseball game before they die, that they should just, well, you're going to have to sit it out to your next life. You got to just wait till you're reincarnated and then you come back and you don't got the chance of getting the beer cooties, all right? Sorry, I'm going to eat my wiener under my mask and you're going to have to stay at home. Stay in your little hospital bed, huh? That is a jackass statement, dude. a jackass statement to say you're going to have to sit it out this year. Some people can't sit it out this year. It may be their last year. How about you take your responsibility as an adult, and if you don't feel good, stay your butt home. Eat your hot dog. You can still sit on your hot dog with a little mask on and take off your mask and bite on your wiener and then suck your beer. Got to sit it out.
Every player, every trainer, every coach, every ticket taker, every food and beverage worker, anybody working in these stadiums will have to have that Abbott 5-minute test.
And all the roaches and all the rats have to take it too. And if the roaches and the rats, if they don't have masks, then they're not allowed to, scavenge for food because we don't want them to spread the COVID-19. I mean, roaches could scare it too. Rats could have it. The mascot
have to. Anyone that wants to attend a game. Now, if I have the choice of...
So all you guys, ticket scalpers, you're going to have to wear a mask if you want to go out there and, scalp a ticket because, you're not already gouging people. You don't want to get them sick, too. So that would be something that's a little bit questionable behavior-wise.
Attending the game or not attending the game. I'm just speaking for myself. Consult your doctor. I'm not a doctor.
I wish you were speaking to yourself. As a matter of fact, I wish you were saying this to yourself in the closet somewhere. Okay, I'm going to go to the game. I'm going to wear a mask and the gloves. I have to wear the mask and the gloves. And I'm going to, okay. And so what I'll do is I'll wait till, I'll get my hot dog. I won't get the popcorn because I have to take my mask up 20 times and the beer cooties will get me. But you know what I'll do is I'll get my hot dog. I'll get my hot dog. And what I'll do is I'll every time I want to buy my hot dog, I'll just whip my mask and I'll bring it back. Close back down. And then okay. Just calm down. Breathe, Hannity. Okay. Whew, I've ordered a beer cooties with that one. Oh, God. I want something to suck on. Oh, yeah, let me get myself a sock. Here's my beer. Got my sippy cup straw here. Oh, that was good beer, cootie beer. Oh.
But you must get the temperature test to get into any Yankee Stadium. You get the temperature test.
I think you need your temperature taken, Hannity, because you are insane.
If you have a temperature, they give you information. You go to your doctor, be safe at home, how to do contact tracing.
Okay, so let me ask you something. How are you going to test people's temperatures? Let's just stick with the idea that they are asymptomatic and they don't know they have it. Okay, so let's say asymptomatic, you can still spread it, right? That's what they keep telling you. You can still spread it, even if your antibodies have fought it off. It's still kind of sitting there inside of your body, and apparently it's contact. It's able to transfer in the air, and it can be transmitted through contact because they don't want anybody at the stores to touch anything. Yet the stores are still open, even though they are trying to shut down the stores. If you haven't heard that, there are a lot of them are trying to shut down the stores and make it to where only the people who work there can go get your stuff. Well, how do you know they don't have it? Excuse me. How do you know they don't have it? So you can't, if you have a fever, when you get to the game, though, they have to tell you, okay, so you can't come in, but you got to go home and do it. Okay, so no, wait, why don't you believe that they would require to know the person's name so that when they come back again, they can make sure they are validated to come back by their doctor because they have been, cleared of having the beer cooties? And shouldn't you quarantine anybody who's within 13 to 15 feet of them, including the person who just checked them, because it may have been transmitted to them? Because if it's in the air, not just breathable air, but if it's not just within their mask zone, if it sits in the air for 10 or 15 minutes or whatever it does, someone else could get it, right? If someone breathes on a product, someone could get it. So if it's in the zone, shouldn't everybody who's been tested who might have a fever be taken back and be quarantined for 14 days? Is that what you want to do with every single person? And how are you not going to do a database? Because if you start this, they're going to want a database. They're going to want proof that you're healthy before you can come back to them. You know what? There'll just be an easier way to do this. Let's just do this easier. Why don't we just put a chip inside of every human being? And if their temperature changes, we can tell them. If their blood pressure changes, we can tell them. If the doctors and the big brothers of the world who seem to want to have every encroachment on your life can tell that you've got any kind of physical health abnormality for the day, they can say, you are not allowed to go to work. You are dangerous. Restrict yourselves to your quarters or be punished. Why don't we just make it easier like that?
No, can't have a database. Got to respect medical privacy.
Once again, how are you not going to have a database? You don't think these companies, if you give them that kind of reach, that they're not going to want, or the government's not going to want some kind of control over making sure that those people don't stay in public, and they're going to say, we need to find a way to quarantine these people. So as soon as we find them, we're going to mark them. That's what Google and Apple are doing now. If they find someone who's been, they're trying to do an app now where you could find if you've been in an area that's been exposed to COVID-19. Excuse me, doesn't that seem an awful lot like a Brave New World to you?
But you can't be if you have a temperature going into any even outdoor stadium. Now, temporarily, again, not the best conditions, but if it's my choice and I have to wear gloves, a mask, okay, I'll wear it. I'd rather go and wear it. If everyone else is wearing it, we can suck it up for a couple of months until things have passed.
You wouldn't wear glove and masks everywhere. You want people to wear gloves and masks everywhere they go, and yet you're sitting on this television screen wearing no mask, and obviously by the sounds, wearing no gloves. But other people need to do it. Come on, man. Come on. You keep saying you care about people's liberty, and yet you want to infringe on their rights to walk around and people to see their face? What is wrong with you, man? Why do you think that there is any major difference between this and any other damn thing that has hit this country? Because they told you it is? Do you know how to think for yourself? Do you walk around wearing a mask when H1N1 hit? Do you walk around wearing mask and gloves when SARS hit? Huh? Do you walk around every year during flu season with a mask and gloves on? Do you walk around during common cold season with a mask and gloves on? Because you're sure as hell not doing it on your show. Don't give me this. Don't give any of this nonsense that this is any more dangerous than anything else that has ever come along. It is a political, governmental overreach into people's liberty. And it is insane that we are allowing it to happen. It is, thank God there are people out there protesting. There need to be more of us. We all need to be doing it. Saying, nope. Like the line goes from that one episode, that one movie, Star Trek. The line must be drawn here. This far, no farther. Wish I had that soundbite. That would have been. He said it a lot better than I did just now. But the point is that this has to stop, and it's up to us to stop it. Weird thing in my headphones. What am I I'm getting a weird thing in my headphones. What is that bullshit? Wow. It's coming from over there. Sorry. Anyway, the point is that this is insane. You don't, if you have good common sense, you don't go to a game when you're sick or you're healthy. And there are people who've still gone to games when they're sick, when they're sick, and they've sat there, and not everybody in the stadium has got it, and not everybody in the stadium is going to get it, and that's just the way it is. And it's already obvious to so many people that this is really not about curing the issue, because if it was, you would try anything and everything, and hydroxychloroquine has been fought tooth and nail. Nobody wants to mention it because of maybe a mild side effect here or there, but nothing significant. But they don't want it out there. They don't want it out there because it's a danger to what they're trying to accomplish with this. And if you, and Hannity mentions in another little cut on his radio show, I don't know if he mentioned it on television, I haven't seen this, but he talks about how, well, maybe you could put a little logo for the team right there on the face mask, and it'll make it, more, they'll be more happy to wear it. We know the problem is when you start doing stuff like that, the more you have people wearing a face mask and gloves every time they go somewhere, it starts to become a normal part of their daily process because they're expected to do it. It doesn't just stay temporary. It becomes a new normal. You want an example of it? Back when 2001, when we were attacked, planes hit our building. It was one day, but there were people still trying to kill us. They decided for a while to make sure things were going to go okay. We were going to start doing TSA and checking people's shoes and such to make sure they weren't carrying on weapons or whatever else, right? Because of half a dozen people in that situation that were doing it. But do you know what? Do you know that now, and for no reason to be to be expected to change, we still take off our shoes and go through that whole TSA experience when we go to travel through airports. It has become a new normal. And if you let them do this masks thing, if we, not you, we're all in this. If we let them do this masks thing, it is going to be a new normal. It'll become a part of the daily expectation. Do you want to walk around encountering other people who are wearing face masks? Is that how you want life to be? Do you want the first touch you share with the person who you grow to fall in love with to be through gloves? Do you want to be not allowed to kiss each other in public, in a park or anywhere because you have to wear your masks? That's what this is becoming. That's what this will become if we don't stop it. Don't listen to anyone who is telling you that, no, it's just temporary, because you know what? They all said stuff was temporary, and it still became a new expectation in life and in society here. Tell them you're not going to do it. You're done with it. We don't want your damn masks. Masks? We don't need your damn masks. This is nonsense. We need to get back to work, back our lives, rebuilding our dreams that have been devastated by this garbage, this political and governmental overreach. We need to get back to our lives. And guys like Hannity introducing these little ideas of little logos on your face mask. It's going to make it makes it cool to wear a face mask. This guy is also the guy who says he doesn't want to do handshakes anymore. Wow. This guy's supposed to be a martial artist, training in MMA for 7 years, mixed martial arts for 7 years, and yet he's afraid to shake someone's hand. He's got feet flying at him, bodies flying at him, sweat everywhere, and he's practicing. But don't shake Sean's hand. He don't want the beer cooties. What in the world is wrong with you, dude? That makes no sense whatsoever. Well, see, what happens is that the beer cooties, they come in and they attack you to the hand. But if you do elbows up, this is how we say from now on, elbows up. I don't want to put an elbow up, Sean, but I do have a finger that I'd like to introduce you to. How about you go to the game and wear gloves and a mask? Just you. And you could sit there like while everybody else lives a normal life around you, and you could be the little chicken. The little, what was it called? The Chicken Little. Oh my God! Here come the Bacarders! Because if this is the kind of mixed martial artist you are, I'm going to slam a door behind you and watch you wet your pants. Because apparently, you know, it's just like, it's super easy for you. Sean Hannity ain't afraid of nothing. Sean Hannity, Sean wet himself, oh God. Oh God, I need my hot dog and to suck on my beer. Oh God, Sean wet himself. Uh-oh. Sean needs a diaper change.